Do not trust or respect those who do these 10 things. Stoic secrets. Trust is the cornerstone of every meaningful relationship, whether it's with friends, family, or romantic partners. But how do we know who truly deserves our trust and respect? The answer lies in observing their actions and words. It's not about overanalyzing or complicating things. It's about being mindful of the behaviors people exhibit. In this video, we'll uncover the 10 types of people you should be cautious about trusting or respecting. Now, when I say don't trust or respect certain individuals, I'm not encouraging disrespect or hostility. That goes against Stoic principles of understanding and self-control. What I mean is recognizing when it's time to protect your emotional and mental peace by distancing yourself from people whose actions or attitudes could harm your well-being. It's not about confrontation. It's about being wise enough to guard yourself against negativity. Identifying these patterns and knowing when to take action is crucial for living a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Stick around as we dive into these behaviors and discover how the Stoic secrets can help you navigate relationships with more clarity and confidence. This is Stoic Secrets, and let's begin. Number 1. The chronic critic. In life, there are people who seem to specialize in pointing out flaws without ever offering solutions. They are the chronic critics, and their impact on us can be both subtle and deeply harmful. These individuals often focus on what's wrong with others, constantly highlighting mistakes or shortcomings, but they rarely offer anything constructive. Their feedback isn't meant to help you grow, but rather to tear you down, whether they intend to or not. It's as if they've become so wrapped up in their own insecurities that they feel the need to bring others down to their level. Have you ever encountered someone like this in your life? Perhaps a friend or colleague who critiques your career choices, your relationships, or even your style. Over time, these remarks chip away at your self-esteem, leaving you second-guessing every decision you make. Being around a chronic critic can drain you emotionally, and their negativity can easily rub off on you. It's hard to stay motivated or positive when you're constantly being told what's wrong instead of what's right. This is why, according to Stoic secrets, we must be mindful of the company we keep. It's not just about distancing yourself from people who don't support your growth. It's about protecting your mental and emotional well-being. Imagine you're working on a project at work that you feel proud of, only to have someone consistently point out what they believe is wrong with it, without offering any advice on how to improve. This toxic criticism doesn't foster growth, it stifles it. In such situations, it's not just your work that gets undermined, but your confidence as well. Now, think about the opposite. Imagine being surrounded by people who see your potential, offer meaningful feedback, and genuinely want to help you grow. Doesn't it feel different? When you're around those who uplift and encourage you, your own growth accelerates. The Stoics believed that our external circumstances can influence our internal peace, but only if we allow it. The chronic critic can be a destructive force, making us question our own worth, when we should instead focus on our own actions and the people who truly support us. So ask yourself, are you surrounded by people who add value to your life? Or are there toxic voices in your circle that continually undermine your self-worth? This is a crucial question for anyone striving to live a life of purpose and serenity. A Stoic mindset teaches us that we cannot control what others say, but we can control how we respond, and whether we allow their negativity to take root in our hearts. By distancing ourselves from chronic critics, we make space for those who will help us grow and thrive. Remember, the Stoic secret to living a peaceful and meaningful life lies not only in what we do, but also in the people we choose to engage with. A modern example can illustrate this point perfectly. Think of a young entrepreneur trying to launch a new business. This individual has a vision, a drive, and a plan, but there are always those around them, family members, friends, colleagues, who doubt their abilities. Every new idea is met with skepticism, every challenge seen as an insurmountable obstacle. But if this entrepreneur continues to listen to these critics, they risk losing the confidence necessary to push through. Instead, imagine if they sought the advice of mentors who had been through the same struggles and emerged successful. These positive voices would nurture the entrepreneur's growth and provide them with the guidance needed to overcome obstacles. It's not the criticism itself, but the kind of criticism that makes all the difference. Will you allow toxic voices to dictate your future, or will you choose to surround yourself with those who empower you to reach your fullest potential? The lesson here is clear. The chronic critic has no place in your life if you're serious about personal growth. As the Stoics teach, we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control how much influence they have over us. Surround yourself with those who offer constructive feedback, encouragement, and support. Distance yourself from those who constantly point out flaws without offering solutions. Your peace of mind, self-esteem, and success will depend on it. When you choose to protect your mental and emotional space, you set yourself on a path to living a life of purpose, growth, and serenity. What kind of people are you allowing to shape your world? Take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, is it time to cut ties with the chronic critics and make room for those who truly add value to your journey? Number 2, the overly friendly social butterfly. The overly friendly social butterfly is the type of person who always shines at social gatherings, drawing others in with their charm and enthusiasm. At first, their personality may seem appealing, and they appear to enjoy connecting with everyone around them. However, beneath this cheerful exterior lies a more complex nature, one that often seeks a wide network of acquaintances instead of genuine, lasting relationships. Their friendliness may not always be sincere. They are more interested in gaining external validation than in forming real connections. As a result, their interactions can often feel shallow, focused on building their social standing rather than fostering authentic bonds. The real issue with connecting with such individuals is that once you no longer serve a purpose for them, they may disappear just as quickly as they entered your life. You might notice their enthusiasm fades when you're going through a tough time, revealing the transactional nature of their relationships. When things aren't going well for you, they may not be there to offer support, showing that their interest is conditional and based on what they can gain from you rather than on mutual respect or care. This dynamic can leave you feeling abandoned at your lowest point, especially when their attention and support evaporate when you need it most. This behavior is increasingly visible in both professional networks and on social media. People may engage with you online, offering likes and encouraging words, but when faced with a real personal challenge, they are nowhere to be found. In today's world, it's easy to confuse superficial interactions with true friendships, not realizing that meaningful relationships require consistency, effort, and mutual vulnerability. The craving for validation through these shallow connections can make us feel briefly validated, only to find that they disappear when the relationship needs genuine effort. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Wasting time on these superficial relationships is a mistake many of us make without realizing it. True friendship should be based on mutual respect and understanding, not on seeking validation or manipulating others for personal benefit. Stoicism encourages us to focus on relationships that contribute to our growth, not just those that flatter our egos. It's essential to build a circle of friends who value you for who you are, not for what you can provide for them. Genuine friendships thrive when they aren't dependent on convenience or personal gain, but on shared values and mutual support. In any relationship, quality should always outweigh quantity. The Stoic perspective on relationships values depth over breadth. True friends are those who stand by you in times of adversity, not just when it's convenient or when they can benefit from you. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." The people who vanish during your struggles are not those who will enrich your life. By recognizing the signs of superficial relationships early on, you can avoid emotional turmoil and unnecessary disappointments. Focus on cultivating a small but meaningful circle, one that is built on shared values and a genuine willingness to invest in each other's well-being. These are the relationships that truly nourish the soul and align with the principles of Stoicism. Number 3. The manipulator. In today's world, manipulators are experts at steering others with psychological games, deceit, and emotional exploitation. They often present themselves with charm and an aura of generosity, making it challenging to see their true motives early on. They know how to persuade and influence those around them, playing on their vulnerabilities, desires, and weaknesses. At first, they may seem like benevolent figures, caring, considerate, and even kind. However, over time, their behavior reveals a different side. They manipulate emotions and situations for personal gain, often without any remorse. You might find yourself in a situation where they continuously exploit your kindness or generosity, leading you to feel guilty or responsible for their problems. Their tactics are subtle but powerful. They may twist your words, actions, or feelings to make you feel inadequate or indebted. For example, think of a colleague who regularly takes credit for your hard work while discreetly undermining your efforts. Over time, this makes you doubt your own abilities and intentions, leaving you drained and uncertain of how to approach the situation. These manipulators rarely take responsibility for their actions. Instead, they deflect blame and often project it onto others when things don't go according to plan. They will twist reality, making you feel like the one who is in the wrong, while they remain blameless in their own eyes. As this cycle continues, the emotional toll on you becomes undeniable. You may find yourself feeling frustrated, confused, and emotionally exhausted as the manipulator pulls the strings of the relationship. In situations like this, it is crucial to establish strong boundaries and stand firm in your values. Recognizing manipulative behavior is the first step toward breaking free from their control. Assertiveness is your best defense. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." In the context of manipulation, this quote reminds us that true emotional wealth comes from understanding our own desires and setting boundaries that protect our peace. Manipulators thrive in environments where people are unsure of themselves, lack boundaries, or feel guilty for asserting their needs. When you are clear and unwavering about what you will tolerate, manipulators lose their power over you. In modern Stoicism, there is a profound emphasis on emotional control and self-awareness. This philosophy teaches us to understand our emotions without letting them control us. By recognizing manipulative behaviors early on, we protect ourselves from unnecessary emotional damage. Remember that your peace of mind is invaluable, and no one should have the right to disrupt that for their own gain. Whether it's a family member, friend, or colleague, manipulators will try to prey on your vulnerabilities, but by embracing Stoic principles, you can maintain your inner strength and not allow them to weaken your resolve. In modern life, manipulative tactics can be found in many places, from the workplace to personal relationships and even on social media. These strategies are used to sway opinions, control narratives, and often put others in compromising situations. The key to protecting yourself is by maintaining clarity of mind, understanding your values, and not allowing emotional pressure to influence your decisions. Stay grounded in your principles, trust your intuition, and recognize that people who manipulate others for personal gain rarely have good intentions. By embracing modern Stoicism, you can learn to observe manipulative behavior without being affected by it, turning their tactics into mere distractions that don't undermine your self-worth or peace. Manipulative people are masters of illusion. They craft false realities and try to impose them on those around them. But just as Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." So too does the quality of your interactions with others depend on how you view and respond to manipulation. By taking a step back, gaining perspective, and applying Stoic principles, you can prevent them from exploiting your emotional resources. You are in control of your responses, and by cultivating emotional independence, you will be able to deal with manipulators more effectively, ensuring that they no longer have the power to drain you. Number 4. The empathy-lacking individual. When you encounter someone who lacks empathy, it's essential to understand the potential harm they can cause, both emotionally and in your relationships. Empathy is the ability to truly understand and share the feelings of others. It's the foundation of meaningful human connections. Without it, relationships become shallow, transactional, and often one-sided. The empathy-lacking individual is someone who not only struggles to grasp the emotions of others, but also fails to show compassion for their suffering. Think about it. Have you ever been around someone who always seems to put their own needs and desires above everyone else's, without a second thought about how their actions might affect others? It's a frustrating and exhausting experience, right? They're the ones who might take without giving, and when they do, they don't think twice about it. These individuals often see others as tools to help them achieve their goals, without caring about the emotional toll it takes on those around them. They might deceive, manipulate, or use others, and they do it all without feeling any remorse. For instance, imagine a friend who regularly borrows money from you but never returns it, or a family member who constantly asks for help but never offers anything in return. Over time, this behavior can leave you feeling unappreciated, used, and even emotionally drained. The constant lack of reciprocity can erode trust, and you may begin to wonder if the relationship is even worth keeping. Let me share a story about someone I know who learned this lesson the hard way. A close acquaintance of mine had a colleague who consistently took advantage of their time and resources. This colleague was always in need, asking for help with projects, borrowing money, and requesting favors. But when it came time to return the favor or offer any help, they were nowhere to be found. At first, my friend thought they were just being kind and generous, believing that everyone goes through hard times. However, over time, they began to feel the weight of constantly giving without receiving anything in return. They became exhausted, emotionally drained, and frustrated. It wasn't until they recognized that this colleague was simply taking advantage of their kindness without ever showing a shred of empathy that they began to set boundaries and distance themselves from the relationship. They learned that true empathy isn't just about understanding others' feelings. It's about showing respect for their time, emotions, and needs. This experience taught them an important Stoic secret. Trust your instincts when you feel like you're being used, and don't let your compassion blind you to the lack of empathy in others. The Stoics believed in protecting your peace, and sometimes that means walking away from people who don't value you or your well-being. So, here's the question for you. Are you surrounded by people who understand your emotions and reciprocate kindness, or are you constantly giving without getting anything in return? If the latter is true, it's time to reevaluate those relationships. Recognizing a lack of empathy early on allows you to adjust your boundaries and protect yourself from further emotional harm. Remember, Stoic secrets aren't just about controlling your emotions. They're about preserving your inner peace and protecting yourself from toxic relationships that drain your energy. The real lesson here is this: don't trust or respect those who lack empathy, because they are more likely to use you than to genuinely care for you. To build a supportive and respectful community together, we'd love to hear from you. Comment: I protect my peace if you believe in the power of recognizing and protecting yourself from relationships lacking empathy. Your participation helps us create a space where everyone can learn and grow together, fostering genuine and lasting connections. Number 5. The pretender listener. The pretender listener is an individual who outwardly appears to be listening attentively, but in truth is often mentally or emotionally disengaged. They may offer polite gestures such as nodding in agreement or giving vague responses like, "I understand," or "That's true," but their attention is elsewhere. This can be particularly frustrating, as it feels like your words are being dismissed or undervalued. The pretender listener might be distracted by their own thoughts, lost in a mental tangent, or even, in the age of constant notifications, more captivated by their phone or external distractions. Their lack of genuine engagement can be so subtle that you might not immediately notice, yet the impact on communication can be profound. Over time, this behavior can create a feeling of being unheard, even when you're sharing important thoughts or emotions. In relationships, whether personal or professional, communication is vital, and when that connection breaks down, the foundation of trust weakens. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely observed, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." The importance of active listening is clear, and when someone is not genuinely present in conversation, they disregard this essential aspect of connection. In modern life, where distractions abound, from constant digital communication to the pressures of multitasking, it's easy for people to fall into the trap of pretending to listen while their minds wander elsewhere. It's a behavior that can erode the quality of relationships, as people begin to feel ignored, dismissed, and disconnected. Imagine trying to convey something important to a friend, only to find them scrolling through their phone or looking away, disengaged from what you're saying. This scenario is all too common in today's fast-paced world, where attention spans are stretched thin and genuine connection often takes a backseat to convenience and digital noise. The consequences of being ignored in this manner can lead to a sense of isolation and frustration, as the person on the receiving end may feel undervalued, unimportant, and disconnected. The lesson here is to recognize that your thoughts, time, and emotions deserve respect, and when someone cannot give you their full attention, it's okay to distance yourself from them. The application of modern Stoicism in this situation encourages you to set boundaries with those who fail to respect your presence and prioritize those who value meaningful conversations and relationships. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. In relationships, the quality of interaction is just as crucial, and surrounding yourself with people who actively listen can greatly enhance your emotional well-being and overall connection with the world. Therefore, it is essential to seek relationships where attention is given as a sign of respect, and where the commitment to genuine engagement strengthens the bond. Recognizing the pretender listener in your life allows you to preserve your own peace and protect yourself from shallow interactions that offer little substance. When faced with such behavior, it is an opportunity to practice emotional discernment and embrace the value of being present in every moment, understanding that true connection is founded on the respect and attention we offer one another. Number 6. The perpetual problem magnet. The perpetual problem magnet is someone who constantly attracts chaos and challenges, regardless of the opportunities that come their way. While everyone faces difficulties, this person is continuously caught in crises of their own making. They tend to blame external circumstances instead of taking responsibility for their actions. This behavior leads to a never-ending cycle of problems that only intensify over time. Their emotional burden not only affects them but also those around them, as they seek sympathy without taking meaningful steps to resolve their issues. You may know someone who always complains about their job or finances, yet takes no action to improve their situation. The endless cycle of frustration becomes emotionally exhausting for those listening, as these individuals expect others to bear their dissatisfaction without ever striving for change. It is essential to set clear boundaries in these relationships, both emotionally and physically, to prevent their problems from draining your energy. Recognizing that many of their struggles are self-inflicted helps you avoid becoming entangled in their chaos. Modern Stoicism teaches us to differentiate between what we can control and what we cannot. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." Much of the turmoil that the perpetual problem magnet faces is self-generated. They fail to reflect on their behavior and often place blame on external factors. By enabling them or sympathizing without offering solutions, we only perpetuate their negative cycle. Instead of attempting to solve their problems, we must learn to detach and focus on what is within our control. Stoicism encourages us to maintain inner peace despite the chaos around us. This doesn't mean we disregard their struggles, but rather we recognize when their continuous cycle of complaints and crises is no longer productive for anyone involved. In modern society, it's easy to become wrapped up in others' problems, especially as empathy is often shown through listening to grievances. However, Stoicism calls us to protect our emotional well-being by assessing whether we are truly helping or just enabling someone's refusal to address the root cause of their issues. This balance requires us to set healthy boundaries, offering support when necessary, but not enabling the continuation of harmful behavior. Stoicism emphasizes that personal growth comes from accepting responsibility, making thoughtful decisions, and learning from past mistakes. When someone refuses to take responsibility, it can harm not only themselves, but also drain others emotionally. In relationships, both personal and professional, this can be observed when a person consistently fails to change despite receiving advice and support. The key to maintaining emotional clarity is recognizing when such relationships are no longer helping you or the other person. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." If someone's constant problems hinder your personal growth, it's crucial to distance yourself and avoid getting caught in their endless cycle of self-inflicted chaos. Modern Stoicism provides tools to protect our peace. By focusing on our own responsibilities and accepting that we cannot control others, we can free ourselves from the toxic cycle of others' drama. When we consistently involve ourselves in someone else's perpetual problems, we hinder our ability to move forward with clarity. It's important to assess whether we are truly helping or merely feeding into their refusal to take control. By applying Stoic wisdom, we create the emotional space necessary for our own growth. Recognizing the limits of our influence is crucial to avoid being trapped in the cycle of perpetual problems that prevent our own peace and progress. Number 7. The constant irritant. Imagine you're preparing for an important meeting at work. You've spent hours gathering your thoughts, organizing your ideas, and you're eager to share them with the team. But as soon as you start speaking, there's that one colleague, the constant irritant. They immediately start interrupting with sarcastic comments and petty challenges. It feels as though every word you say is met with resistance. Their goal doesn't seem to be fostering a better conversation or finding common ground. Instead, they thrive on stirring tension and discomfort. It's almost as if they take pleasure in creating an environment where everyone feels on edge. This person doesn't care about what's being discussed. They care about making you and others feel unsettled. They might insist on always being right, criticize even the smallest details, or use their sharp words to provoke emotional responses. It's not a healthy exchange of ideas. It's a deliberate attempt to throw you off balance. At first you might be able to shrug it off, but over time, this behavior begins to wear you down. Why does this person act this way? The answer often lies in their need for attention, control, or simply the thrill of upsetting others. They're not looking for meaningful discussion or resolution. Instead, they want to dominate the conversation and manipulate others into reacting. Their comments and actions sow confusion, doubt, and conflict, and their ability to provoke emotions becomes the focal point of every interaction. The constant irritant isn't interested in real feedback or productive dialogue. They simply want to make you question yourself, create discomfort, and ensure that their presence is felt in every conversation. As you encounter more of these situations, you may start to feel mentally drained, emotionally exhausted, and frustrated. This constant emotional turmoil can slowly erode the trust and respect you once had for them, and it can impact your productivity and overall well-being. But here's the most important part. You don't have to let their behavior control your emotional state. The Stoic secret in moments like these is clear. Recognize the pattern of disruption, step away from the emotional noise, and preserve your inner peace. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't control the actions of others, we have full control over how we respond to them. When you disengage from the emotional drama they create, you stop feeding into their game. You retain control over your own mind and emotions, instead of giving them away to someone who seeks to manipulate them. Now, disengaging doesn't mean avoiding conflict or confrontation when it's necessary. It simply means that you decide when and how to engage, and you choose your battles wisely. You can address the situation directly when it's important, but you don't have to let their every comment disrupt your mental focus or peace of mind. It's important to remind yourself, their actions are theirs to own. Your reactions are yours to control. When faced with a constant irritant, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this worth my emotional energy? Is this person's behavior truly going to affect my long-term goals or happiness? The answer is often no. The Stoic practice of detachment helps you separate your inner peace from their attempts to provoke you. It may take time to develop this level of emotional control, especially when their comments hit a nerve or seem intentionally designed to hurt. But practicing Stoicism allows you to build the strength needed to maintain your tranquility in challenging situations. Over time, you will find that these provocations no longer have the power to derail you. By disengaging from their emotional games and focusing on your own response, you begin to protect your energy and preserve your mental clarity. So, when you encounter the constant irritant in your life, choose peace over provocation. Remember the Stoic secret of detachment, and you will discover that you no longer need to get caught up in their chaos. Instead, you will be able to live with more intention, purpose, and calm. This will allow you to focus on what truly matters, leaving behind the unnecessary tension and emotional strain that comes from dealing with those who only seek to disrupt your peace. Number 8. The toxic individual. Toxic individuals can be incredibly draining, causing emotional turmoil and destruction in the lives of those around them. These individuals often act as a relentless force of negativity, showing little regard for the well-being of others. They are quick to criticize, manipulate, and dismiss the feelings of others, leaving a trail of hurt and frustration in their wake. A toxic person's presence in your life can feel like a weight, constantly dragging you down as they seem to focus solely on their own needs, rarely offering the same energy, support, or positivity in return. Such individuals can turn every interaction into a battleground, belittling your achievements or casting doubt on your dreams and aspirations. They tend to downplay your successes, offering nothing but sarcasm or passive-aggressive remarks. The worst part is that they may even thrive on creating chaos, feeding off your insecurities and leaving you questioning your own worth. Take, for instance, the friend who continually undermines your progress, making you feel inferior with every word. They may act like your victories are trivial or unimportant, and instead of celebrating your growth, they seek ways to tear it down. This type of behavior is not only emotionally draining, but also disorienting, as it causes you to second-guess your decisions and doubt your sense of self. Toxic individuals rarely, if ever, take responsibility for their harmful actions. Rather than apologizing for the hurt they cause, they will shift the blame onto others, leaving you to clean up the mess they've created. Unfortunately, this dynamic only serves to perpetuate the cycle of negativity and exhaustion. The toll that such individuals take on your mental and emotional energy can leave you feeling depleted, making it difficult to focus on your own goals and ambitions. Seneca, a key figure in modern Stoicism, reminds us that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. When you allow toxic individuals to occupy space in your life, you waste precious time and energy that could otherwise be spent nurturing your personal growth and well-being. The Stoics understood the importance of managing who and what we allow to influence our inner peace. A toxic person's ability to sow discord in your life can undermine the stability and clarity you need to pursue your goals. However, recognizing the signs of a toxic person early on is a powerful tool at your disposal. By doing so, you can set healthy boundaries that safeguard your mental and emotional state, ensuring that negativity does not take root in your life. In today's world, it's crucial to be discerning about the company you keep, especially in the age of social media and constant connectivity, where negative influences can be just a click away. By practicing modern Stoicism, you can cultivate a sense of inner resilience that helps you identify toxic behavior and protect yourself from its harmful effects. This allows you to focus your energy on more positive and supportive relationships, creating an environment where your growth and aspirations can thrive. In modern life, we often find ourselves juggling multiple roles, whether in our careers, personal relationships, or online presence. And being surrounded by toxic individuals only adds unnecessary burden to this complex web. As we strive to lead fulfilling lives, it's essential to recognize that we can control who we let into our emotional space. A critical element of modern Stoicism is the understanding that we cannot control others, but we can control our reactions. In the face of toxicity, you have the power to choose how to respond, whether by distancing yourself, setting clear boundaries, or simply refusing to engage with negativity. By embracing the wisdom of the Stoics, you'll learn to live with purpose, clarity, and strength, no longer allowing toxic individuals to diminish your self-worth or derail your aspirations. In today's fast-paced world, the ability to shield yourself from harmful influences and prioritize your mental and emotional health is a skill that pays immense dividends. Through modern Stoicism, we are reminded that our time and energy are valuable. It's up to us to guard them against those who seek to drain us, ensuring that we remain focused, energized, and committed to our growth. By being aware of toxic behavior and taking proactive steps to remove such individuals from our lives, we can cultivate an environment that fosters positivity, self-love, and lasting success. If you've made it this far, you're well on your way to inner peace and personal growth. Leave a comment with the tagline, "Remove negativity, cultivate prosperity," to show your commitment to protecting your mental and energetic space from toxic influences. Stay with us. The journey of self-discovery and growth is full of exciting things to come. Number 9. The Fair Weather Friend. In the course of our lives, we will inevitably encounter individuals who seem to be friends, but whose loyalty and commitment are conditional upon the circumstances. These people are commonly known as fair weather friends. They show up when everything in your life is going smoothly, when you're riding the wave of success, basking in joy, or simply enjoying good fortune. At these times, they are eager to offer support, share in your happiness, and be your companion. But the moment life presents you with challenges or hardships, when the tide turns and things become difficult, they vanish as quickly as they appeared. They are nowhere to be found, leaving you to confront your problems alone. This behavior reveals a lot about the true nature of their friendship. It's not built on a solid foundation of loyalty or unconditional support, but rather on the convenience of the moment. They are present only when it suits them, when their presence can somehow benefit them, or when it's easy to be around you. When the going gets tough, they quickly distance themselves, proving that their friendship is more transactional than genuine. A real-life example of a fair-weather friend might be someone who only reaches out when they want something from you. Perhaps they invite you to a party or an event when they're looking for company, or maybe they come to you when they need help with something. But when you're struggling, whether emotionally, financially, or mentally, these same friends will not offer their support or lend a listening ear. In fact, they may not even acknowledge your troubles, leaving you to navigate your difficulties alone. This behavior can be especially hurtful because it often leads to feelings of betrayal and disappointment. It's as though the friendship you thought was unconditional was just an illusion, and you are left questioning the authenticity of the relationship. At the core of this behavior is a lack of emotional depth and commitment. A fair-weather friend lacks the ability or willingness to be there for you when things aren't going well. They don't see the value in supporting you during tough times, as their connection to you is more superficial than anything else. True friendship, however, is grounded in mutual respect, trust, and the understanding that regardless of the circumstances, you will stand by each other. A genuine friend is someone who is there for you when you succeed, but more importantly, someone who will not abandon you when you face challenges. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely noted, if you want to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. Don't be troubled. In modern Stoicism, we recognize that genuine relationships are based on deeper principles of loyalty and support, rather than the superficial aspects that often govern fair-weather friendships. In today's world, it's crucial to understand the nature of the relationships we cultivate. We must learn to identify and accept the limitations of fair-weather friends, as these individuals will only hurt us in the long run. By adjusting our expectations and recognizing the transactional nature of these friendships, we can protect ourselves from unnecessary disappointment. Instead, We should strive to surround ourselves with people who value us for who we are, and who will stand by us in both the good and bad times. True friends are the ones who offer unconditional support, who invest emotionally in your well-being, and who remain present even when the storms of life roll in. These are the relationships that are worth nurturing and cherishing, as they provide the foundation for a meaningful, resilient life. The modern Stoicism we embrace teaches us to invest our time and energy in building these strong, supportive connections that will stand the test of time. After all, it's not about the number of people who are there when things are easy. It's about the few who are by your side when things get tough. Number 10. The irresponsible individual. Have you ever found yourself constantly cleaning up after someone who refuses to take responsibility for their actions? Whether it's a friend, colleague, or family member, we all encounter individuals who avoid accountability. They make excuses, fail to learn from mistakes, and leave others to handle the consequences. It's frustrating, draining, and unfair. You may find yourself picking up the slack for someone who misses deadlines, breaks promises, or doesn't follow through, as though their carelessness doesn't affect anyone else. At its core, this behavior stems from a lack of responsibility, which erodes relationships over time. As they avoid accountability, resentment builds, and you may feel like their irresponsibility has become your burden to bear. How do you deal with this without letting it negatively impact you? This is where Stoic principles provide a powerful solution. Stoicism teaches you to focus on what's within your control and not to take responsibility for others' actions. If someone refuses to own up to their mistakes, you don't need to carry the weight of their failures. Instead, set clear boundaries. Understand that their mistakes are not your problem, and their failures shouldn't disrupt your peace of mind. You can choose not to rely on them for responsibilities, protecting your own growth. Consider the last time you had to cover for someone who didn't hold up their end of a deal. Maybe a colleague missed a deadline, leaving you to do their work, or a friend promised help but vanished when needed. How did you feel? Frustrated or resentful? You deserve relationships with people who respect their commitments and take responsibility. So, how do you handle these situations effectively? Embrace Stoic principles by practicing acceptance and detachment. Remember, their irresponsibility is not a reflection of your worth. You have the power to decide how much of their irresponsibility you tolerate. By setting boundaries, you prevent their actions from controlling your emotional state. This doesn't mean cutting them off. It simply means no longer allowing their lack of responsibility to weigh on you. Take a moment to reflect. How can you handle this situation in a way that preserves your peace and integrity? Focus on what you can control, your own actions. This allows you to either hold them accountable or disengage, freeing up energy for your own growth. Imagine managing a team where one member consistently misses deadlines. You've reminded them, but nothing changes. Eventually, you realize the issue isn't just the task, it's their general approach to life. You set clear expectations, firmly stating that their lack of responsibility won't be tolerated. Over time, they either step up or face consequences. This Stoic approach empowers you to protect your peace and integrity. This mindset applies to your personal life too. Maybe a friend often cancels plans, leaving you frustrated and adjusting your schedule around them. Instead of internalizing their behavior, recognize it's their lack of respect for your time. By setting boundaries and focusing on relationships with accountable people, you protect your well-being. The lesson is clear. Don't trust or respect those who refuse to take responsibility. Their behavior is a reflection of their inability to manage their life, not your worth. By using Stoic secrets and focusing on personal accountability, You take control of your own narrative, set boundaries, reduce your dependence on irresponsible people, and free yourself from their frustration. Your peace and integrity are more important than cleaning up their mess. Stoic wisdom teaches you control. You control how you respond to others' irresponsibility. Accept that you can't change others, only how you engage with them. By letting go of their burdens, you can focus your energy on what truly matters. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if you stopped giving time to people who don't respect your boundaries? How much peace could you gain by releasing the responsibility for their mistakes? Take this lesson to heart, and you'll find a path toward greater self-respect and emotional freedom. As we've explored the 10 types of people you shouldn't trust or respect, it's clear that understanding these traits can help you protect yourself from negative influences and avoid toxic relationships. However, avoiding these individuals is just one part of the journey toward a healthy and fulfilling life. So, how can we go about building positive, lasting relationships? How to cultivate healthy relationships. In this section, we will discuss how to cultivate healthy relationships and maintain peace in your life. The specific strategies shared here will not only help you stay away from negativity, but also empower you to create strong, genuine connections. Don't miss these transformational methods. Number 1. Setting boundaries. One of the most fundamental principles of modern Stoicism is the ability to establish and maintain clear boundaries in both personal and professional relationships. By doing so, we actively protect our emotional and mental well-being, preventing ourselves from falling victim to manipulation, emotional exploitation, or the undue stress that others may try to impose on us. Just as a well-maintained garden requires fences to keep out harmful pests, our relationships necessitate boundaries to protect us from toxic influences that can drain us, undermine our self-esteem, and disrupt our peace of mind. Boundaries are not walls built to isolate us from the world, but safeguards that allow us to protect our emotional space and preserve our sense of dignity and worth. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus profoundly stated, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This quote encapsulates the essence of modern Stoicism, the ability to define and limit what we are willing to accept from others. By doing so, we take control of our emotional life rather than allowing others to dictate our feelings or actions. In today's fast-paced and interconnected world, setting boundaries has become even more crucial. We live in a time where people constantly seek our attention, energy, and time, often without considering the toll it may take on our emotional health. It is essential, therefore, to recognize when relationships are becoming toxic, or when people are continually undermining our confidence or creating unnecessary drama in our lives. Setting boundaries is not an act of rejection, but a form of self-respect and self-care. It may involve saying no to individuals who demand more than we're able or willing to give, or stepping away from conversations that foster negativity or resentment. It could even mean distancing ourselves from those who consistently display disrespect or dishonesty. In essence, setting boundaries helps us maintain balance by preserving our energy for those who truly respect and value us. For example, if a colleague regularly makes passive-aggressive remarks that leave you feeling hurt or disrespected, you can address the behavior directly. Instead of harboring resentment or internalizing the negativity, calmly and clearly stating that such behavior is unacceptable sets the boundary. By doing so, you preserve your peace and emotional well-being, and at the same time, you hold that person accountable for their actions. This approach doesn't involve confrontation, but it sends a clear message that you will not tolerate behavior that undermines your self-respect. In many cases, this simple act of setting boundaries leads to a more respectful and healthy dynamic in the relationship. Boundaries in relationships function as invisible but powerful markers of what we value, what we are willing to tolerate, and where we stand. They help establish the terms of our interactions, ensuring that we don't sacrifice our emotional health for the sake of maintaining peace at any cost. They remind both us and those around us that we are in charge of our emotional states, and we do not have to accept treatment that diminishes our self-worth. In the context of modern Stoicism, where rational thought, self-discipline, and intentional living guide our actions, setting boundaries becomes a natural extension of our ability to live mindfully and with clarity. By defining what we will and will not tolerate, we protect our emotional well-being and create space for more meaningful and authentic connections with others. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By setting clear boundaries, we protect our thoughts and emotional states, ensuring that they are not unduly influenced by negative people or circumstances. This is the essence of modern Stoicism, living with intentionality, maintaining inner peace, and preserving our dignity and self-respect. Number 2. Seeking positive relationships. In modern Stoicism, we are continually reminded of the profound impact that our environment and the relationships we cultivate have on our development and overall well-being. The people we surround ourselves with play an integral role in shaping who we become, both personally and professionally. Seeking out positive relationships is not just an option, but a necessity for our growth and peace of mind. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely pointed out, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. In this context, the idea of wealth is not measured by material things, but by the quality of the relationships we maintain. True wealth in this sense comes from having a circle of individuals who bring out the best in us, challenge us, and support us as we navigate the complexities of life. When we choose to surround ourselves with individuals who embody trust, respect, and a shared commitment to growth, we are more likely to experience positive emotional, mental, and spiritual development. These relationships provide us with the support, encouragement, and motivation we need to keep pushing forward, especially during challenging times. A mentor, for example, can serve as a guiding light in our career or personal journey, offering not only wisdom, but also a sense of purpose. Likewise, friends who motivate us to pursue our passions, be better versions of ourselves, and act with integrity help us stay on track toward our goals. These are the kinds of relationships that nourish us and help us evolve into more accomplished and fulfilled individuals. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and a Stoic philosopher, once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This powerful reminder urges us to take action and align ourselves with individuals who embody the values we wish to cultivate. By surrounding ourselves with those who embody qualities like kindness, discipline, and wisdom, we too can grow and develop into individuals of higher character. These positive relationships are not merely about being surrounded by people who agree with us, but rather those who challenge us to improve and support us in our endeavors. On the other hand, toxic relationships serve as a drain on our energy and can hold us back from reaching our potential. Toxic individuals may criticize us without offering constructive feedback, belittle our aspirations, or encourage us to engage in unhealthy behaviors. These types of relationships destabilize our peace of mind and hinder our personal growth. They may offer momentary comfort or familiarity, but they ultimately prevent us from moving forward in life. The more we invest in toxic relationships, the more they erode our self-confidence and sense of purpose, making it harder to achieve the goals we've set for ourselves. In today's fast-paced, hyper-connected world, it is easy to fall into the trap of valuing quantity over quality when it comes to friendships and relationships. We may have hundreds or even thousands of acquaintances on social media, but the true measure of success in relationships lies in the strength and depth of the bonds we form. As modern Stoicism teaches us, we must focus on what we can control, and the relationships we choose to nurture are certainly within our control. We have the power to decide who we spend our time with and which connections we allow to influence our lives. By prioritizing relationships that lift us up, motivate us, and encourage our personal growth, we can create an environment where we thrive. Therefore, as we move forward in our lives, we must be intentional in seeking relationships that inspire us, offer positive reinforcement, and challenge us to be better versions of ourselves. This means distancing ourselves from those who hold us back or impede our progress. It's through cultivating healthy, positive relationships that we are able to create a life of greater meaning, fulfillment, and peace. By following the teachings of modern Stoicism, we can consciously choose the people who contribute to our development and align ourselves with those who help us navigate life's challenges with wisdom and strength. Ultimately, the relationships we build will help shape the path we walk and determine the quality of the life we lead. We are so grateful to have you as part of this community. Positive relationships play a crucial role in our growth and happiness. Have you ever faced situations where the relationships you formed shaped your life? How did you navigate those relationships to ensure they supported your growth? Share your thoughts. Your experiences could inspire others to take action in their own lives. Not sure what to write? No worries. Simply leave a comment with the following slogan: choose your companions, choose your growth. Let's keep this conversation going. Your voice is what makes this space a source of inspiration for all of us. Number 3. Developing patience. One of the most powerful Stoic secrets to mastering life and building strong, meaningful relationships is learning how to develop patience. Patience isn't just about waiting for something to happen. It's about having the wisdom and self-control to stay calm and composed, even in the most challenging situations. Think about this. How many times have you found yourself on the edge, ready to react impulsively when someone cuts you off in a conversation or when someone is rude to you? It's easy to feel anger rising or frustration boiling over, but imagine having the ability to pause, breathe, and respond with composure instead of reacting on impulse. That's the power of patience. It gives you the ability to manage your emotions rather than being controlled by them. Now, combine patience with self-awareness, another key Stoic virtue, and you get a game-changing approach to life. Self-awareness helps you recognize when you're being triggered, when your emotions start to take over, so that you can consciously choose a more thoughtful response. For instance, imagine a situation where a colleague snaps at you in a meeting. Your first instinct might be to fire back with something equally sharp, or to let your frustration show, but if you've cultivated self-awareness, you can recognize that your irritation is a result of your own expectations being unmet, not necessarily because of the other person's actions. Instead of reacting emotionally, you pause, reflect, and respond in a way that promotes peace rather than escalating the conflict. This kind of reaction, or rather non-reaction, can truly transform your interactions with others. Think about a time when you might have let your anger or frustration get the best of you. What did that really achieve? Did it improve the situation or just create more tension? Now, imagine how different that situation would have been if you had the patience and self-awareness to respond in a calm, composed manner. It's not always easy, especially when people push your buttons, but by practicing patience and tuning into your emotions, you can navigate difficult conversations with a clearer mind and a more open heart. This approach fosters better relationships and helps you avoid unnecessary conflicts. So ask yourself, how often do you let your emotions drive your actions? What if you took a moment to pause, to step back, and to choose how you want to respond? The Stoic secrets of patience and self-awareness can truly elevate your interactions and relationships, helping you maintain peace, build trust, and create deeper, more respectful connections. By mastering these virtues, you not only create more harmony in your own life, but also help others feel heard, understood, and respected. Ultimately, when you approach life with patience and self-awareness, you become someone others can rely on, someone who responds thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. In conclusion, recognizing the types of people who don't deserve your trust or respect is essential for protecting your emotional and mental well-being. By identifying the behaviors of chronic critics, manipulators, and toxic individuals, you can make wiser decisions about where to invest your time and energy. Remember, your relationships should empower you, not drain you, and building connections that foster your growth is key to living a fulfilling life. So, take these insights to heart and start cultivating a supportive, respectful circle around you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic Secrets, and make sure to turn on the notifications so you never miss out on our upcoming videos. Stay tuned for more Stoic wisdom to live a better, more peaceful life.